Women won't admit to these weaknesses, not because they're hiding them, but because they're desperate for a man with the strength to see them. Most men only notice the surface, the perfect smile, the curves, the skin. But beneath all that, beauty is a tension, a storm she doesn't understand, a desire she can't confess. Your compliments aren't what she wants. She wants your presence. Your approval isn't what she's looking for. She wants to feel your edge. You're not here to be impressive. You're here to understand her, to notice the flicker in her eyes when you stop talking, to hear the hesitation in her voice when she claims to be fine, to see the crack hidden behind her strength. This is not about manipulation. This is masculine mastery, stoic, sexual, and unshakable. You're not here to reveal her. You're here to remain calm as she reveals herself. And 5. That, my friend, is what makes you dangerous. And before we move on, I have something special for you. A free ebook, The Female Mind Control Handbook. It uncovers the hidden secrets to making any woman crave you. Grab it now. The link is in the description, or the pinned comment. 1. The hidden craving. She wants to be owned you. See her across the room, glowing, confident, and untouchable. She wants you to believe she's in control. But here is the secret. She's yearning for the opposite. Her deepest desire isn't to be dominant, it's to surrender. Not to a man who begs, but to one who doesn't flinch. She wants to be taken with brute force, but with an undeniable masculine presence. This is her hidden weakness. She longs to be possessed emotionally, mentally, and sexually by a man who can handle all of her without losing himself. But society has taught her this is wrong, so she buries it, covering her fantasy with feminist filters and a facade of independence. Still, her body knows. She'll test you. She'll push you away, pretend she's not interested, and challenge your authority. But deep inside, she is waiting for one thing: a man who doesn't ask for permission to lead. The stoic man reads the room, sees the hunger in her eyes, and remains unshaken. He doesn't chase. He moves with intention, silence, and command. This contrasts her inner storm, and your outer stillness ignites something ancient. It bypasses logic and makes her submit without her even realizing she wanted to. Most men never get this far. They try to impress, seduce, or prove themselves. But a woman isn't conquered by words. She is claimed through unapologetic masculine gravity. Be that, and she will follow your lead breathless, wet, and grateful. 2. Her lips lie, but her weakness is emotional nudity. A woman can use her words to lie, but her emotions, her energy, and her body language never will. She'll say, "I'm not looking for anything serious," but her pupils will be dilated, and her breathing shallow as she stares at you. She'll say, "I don't catch feelings." While checking your stories at 3 a.m., she'll say, "We're just having fun," but turn icy when you talk to another girl. Her words are armor, but her behavior exposes the truth. This is her second weakness. She wants to feel emotionally naked, to be seen in her mess, her lust, and her contradictions, without being judged or analyzed. But here's the catch. Most men are either too blind to see it or too emotional to stay grounded when they do. The stoic man does the opposite. He observes, he listens, and he waits. He sees her storm and remains the mountain. He doesn't ask, "What are we?" He doesn't say, "Do you love me?" He already knows, because he doesn't listen to her words. He listens to the emotional frequency beneath them. Stoicism teaches that appearances are deceptive and to judge by actions, not words. So when she laughs too loudly, looks too perfect, or brags about how unbothered she is, he sees the girl behind the performance. And when he finally speaks, he doesn't flatter. He simply says, "You don't have to pretend around me." Boom. Her legs may not part, but her soul will. That is emotional intimacy. That is the real seduction. 3. Drama is her drug, and calmness is your power. Women say they want peace, but pay attention. Many are addicted to emotional chaos. She starts petty, fights, disappears for hours, and creates stories in her head that make no sense. Why? Because drama gives her a sense of control, and emotion is her language. She will test you not to hurt you, but to measure you, to see if you'll lose your cool. Will you chase? Will you argue back like a boy, or stand tall like a man? This is her third weakness. She subconsciously creates tension to feel your reaction, and when you don't give her the emotional spike she craves, she either evolves or disappears. Either way, you win. The stoic man doesn't flinch when provoked. He doesn't beg when she's cold. He doesn't fight for attention. He attracts it by doing nothing emotionally unnecessary. Seneca said, "If you want to win, learn to endure without complaint." She doesn't even know why your silence affects her so deeply, but it does. It forces her to reflect, to feel her own drama without dragging you into it. When you stay calm, you hold the masculine frame, and inside that frame, she can finally rest, not because you tamed her, but because you refuse to dance with her chaos. 4. She's all fantasy, but reality is her weak spot. Let's be real. Every woman has a fantasy playing in her mind at all times. It's not about a guy with a good job or about romance and flowers. It's about power. A man who pins her against the wall, who makes her feel small, feminine, and completely out of control. But here's the glitch. Her fantasy man doesn't exist. Because most men are either too timid or too thirsty, too scared to lead or too needy to be respected. So she lives in fiction. She stays in situationships and fantasizes more than she acts. This is her fourth weakness. She uses her imagination to escape reality because reality is lacking masculine fire. The Stoic man is different. He doesn't try to become her fantasy. He becomes her anchor in reality. He walks like he owns the room, speaks like he doesn't care if she agrees, and touches her like he's already had her 10 times before. He doesn't chase validation. He creates a new fantasy one based on presence, intensity, and primal leadership. And suddenly, she stops scrolling, stops fantasizing. Because you become the dream she didn't know she was starving for, that's the power of grounded masculinity. 5. The I'm fine lie. She's dying for you to read between her words. She says, I'm fine, but her voice went flat. Her body pulled away. Her texts got colder. And her eyes there screaming. Welcome to her fifth weakness. Communication through contradiction. You see, women speak an encoded emotional language. They rarely say what they mean, not because they're manipulative, but because their emotional world is layered. They expect a man to feel their tone, not just hear their words. This is where most men fail. They hear, I'm fine, and back off. Or worse, they beg, plead, and chase for clarity. The Stoic man hears the pause before she said it. He watches her body, her breathing, her silence, and he does not react. He leans in, not physically, but with stillness and presence. He says, you don't have to talk right now, but I see what you're not saying, and I'm here. Boom. That calm pressure makes her melt because now she feels understood, seen, and emotionally penetrated. This is the man who breaks through the I'm fine mask not with questions, but with calm, masculine certainty. She doesn't want your panic. She wants your awareness. 6. The validation fix. She needs to know she still has power over you. Ever wonder why a woman you barely talk to still watches your stories? Or why your ex texts you out of nowhere when you stop caring? It's not love. It's not that she misses you. It's validation, hunger. This is her sixth weakness. She needs to know she can still affect you, because in her world, attention is currency. Your attention proves she still holds value. Here's the trap. Most men give her what she wants, hoping to get her back. They reply fast. They compliment her. They let their time fuel her ego. But that only feeds her addiction. The Stoic man sees through the bait. She texts, hey, just checking in. He thinks, she needs a hit. He delays. He replies slowly, maybe not at all, because he knows every time you respond emotionally, you pay her. The man with power isn't rude. He's just not available for emotional charity. And that drives her crazy in the most sexual way possible. She'll wonder what you're doing, why you're not responding, and if you're with someone else. And the fantasy builds. Why? Because the man who denies her ego owns her imagination. Point 7. The identity crisis. She doesn't know who she really is. You ask her what she wants in a man. She says confidence, then kindness. She wants a gentleman, but also a savage. She wants to feel safe, but also dominated. Confused, so is she. This is her seventh weakness. Her identity is fluid, and it terrifies her. She's a boss in public, but at night, she wants to be devoured. She's independent, but when she's with a strong man, she becomes soft and secretly loves it. The modern woman has been told to be everything. At once, sexy but not easy, fierce but feminine, hardworking but soft-hearted. She's exhausted, so she seeks men who can anchor her, not control her, not fix her, but just stay grounded while she figures herself out. The Stoic man does exactly that. He doesn't react when her personality flips. He doesn't argue when she contradicts herself. He simply says, you don't need to know who you are around me. Just be here. I'll stay the same. And that stability makes her fall, because in a world of identity confusion, the man who knows himself becomes her compass. 8. The too strong act. Her strength is a shield. She walks in like a queen, head held high, voice sharp. She pays her own bills and takes no nonsense. You think she doesn't need you. Wrong. This is her eighth weakness. Her strength is a survival mask. She's had to be strong because weak men failed her, because trust turned into betrayal, because the world punishes soft women. So she armored up. But here's what you don't see. Underneath her strength is a secret craving to be led. Not by a tyrant, but by a man strong enough to handle her fire and not be burned. She doesn't need your money. She needs your emotional strength, your decisiveness, your ability to say, no, we're doing it this way, and not blink. When you don't fear her edge, when you calmly pull her close while she's yelling. When you lead with love, but without apology, she finally relaxes. Because a powerful woman doesn't want to fight a man. She wants to submit to one who won't fold. Point 9. Thought loops. She can't stop overthinking unless you break the pattern. Ever watch her mind spiral? You say something harmless, and she replays it 40 times, builds a scenario, and creates drama. Out of silence. Why? Because women don't process in straight lines. They process in loops, with circular thinking and emotional echo chambers. This is her ninth weakness. She lives in her head and can't escape unless you interrupt the loop. And no, you don't do it by explaining, using logic, or trying to fix it. You break the loop through masculine interruption. Grab her waist. Look her dead in the eyes. Say, "Stop thinking. Come here." Touch her neck. Pull her close. Kiss her like she belongs to you. Suddenly, she's out of her mind and back in her body. Back in the moment. The Stoic man doesn't argue with her thoughts. He replaces them with his presence. And that's the real seduction, taking her from analysis to surrender. Women have weaknesses. Not because they are flawed, but because they are deeply emotional, sensual, and psychological beings. Your job isn't to exploit those cracks. It's to understand them, to remain unshaken in the face of their storms, to stay grounded when they lose control. That's what real masculine power is. If you've ever seen through a woman's drama and held your frame, comment aware, like this video, and subscribe for more forbidden truths about power, women, and grounded masculinity. And remember, she always tests your emotions, but it's your stillness that makes her submit.